giving kids another avenue besides college and bringing them into the trades, we support that because we need that as a company. We see the shift of like, there's not a lot of great employees coming this way. They've all been pushed towards college.
Welcome to Shaping the Basin. I am here today with Eric Schmerbach. Did I get that correctly?
You nailed it.
All right. Eric Schmerbach from Linkville Roofing and Siding. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to dig in and talk about some of the things you're doing at the business and some of the things that you're doing in leadership space. But we always ask our listeners if they have any questions. And so I'm going to start with those before we get to my questions. So these came from our audience.
Okay.
All right.
I think I cheated a little bit. I may have seen a couple of them.
Oh, I'm going to have to change that process.
I hope so.
But one of them was, has your business benefited from Klamath Community College's trades programs or the high school's focus on trades?
Absolutely. So we have a story that is near and dear to my heart from the trades program. So we've got a kid, Reggie, that started with us 3 years ago, and he came through Build My Future, which is the event we title sponsor where local high school kids come through the fairgrounds. We build a tiny home, give it away or raffle away for a good cause. Year one of that event, Reggie was at the event helping build the tiny home in a capacity of like going through KCC or working on it as a kid. We ended up hiring Reggie on a couple years ago, and he started out as a labor position, and Reggie has worked for us for the last 3 or 4 years, and now he's up at the number 2 guy on a crew. He's been a great guy to have, but it's one of those situations where you get to see the fruits of the labor and it come full circle. So yes, we have seen the benefits of that program, and Mark out at KCC is doing a great job with that. I think that's like a feather in the Klamath Basin's hat. It's really strong, the apprenticeship program out there at KCC.
I would agree. We had Dr. Gutierrez on, and we talked a little bit about that. And then on a future podcast, we're going to have, we've invited Mark to be on and talk about some of what he's doing on the apprenticeship side. Related to that, how well prepared have the employees been?
Very well. So they get when they go through the construction program, they get basic fall protection, basic tool knowledge. So when we see an application come across our desk and we see that they've been through the program, it's always a leg up for them.
Okay, great. The next question related to that was, how can KCC and the local school districts improve to meet construction needs? Is there any improvements they could make?
I think KCC, just keep doing what you're doing. I think that there's a lot. The next nearest college that's providing that is a long ways away. So we're becoming a hub of apprenticeship programs from HVAC. They've got everything there. And very cool thing is we're looking to get a roofing program out there. So we're going to be hopefully a big part of the roofing apprenticeship program out at KCC that's going to be coming in. But I think just keep doing what they're doing. I think they're on the right track. They're providing a service, a need that Oregon, Southern Oregon, Northern California really needs filled, and nobody else is stepping up to the plate to do it. And KCC is taking that on and doing a good job at it.
Great. The next question was, how do you measure return on investment in your business, and how do you determine success?
Ooh, that's a great question. Return on investment. So I track the numbers pretty strongly. So return on investment on whatever I'm doing, I try to track that through numbers and really be able to see the hard numbers on those things. Measuring success, there's a lot to that. The value preference indicator I was talking about before, one of my values, one of my preferences, like I am somewhat in it to make money out of it. And I love my job. I love what I do, but it's hard work. And at the end of the day, like we deserve to make a little money at it. So there's a financial aspect of it, but then there's also the other side of it, the people side of it, to where I know that I don't get very far as a business. We don't get very far as a business without the people. So I measure success by happy clients and happy employees.
Great. And the last audience question was, how do you use technology to improve efficiency and communications?
Ooh, I love that one. How much time we got?
Go ahead.
So
I'm okay.
4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I was looking at joining a business coaching group, and they said, okay, you can't join this year. What you need to do, the very first thing you need to do before you join is you need to go out and you get a CRM, a customer relationship management tool. So 5 years ago, we went out and we got Job Progress. It's now called Leap, but it's a CRM, and that's been, as far as tech software that we put in, that has allowed us to do so much. Everything we do runs through this platform. When a customer calls in, it goes into this computer database. When they set an appointment, we get the notification come across our phones as salespeople. We schedule our production crews on there. We schedule our sales and production managers on there. We do our estimating through that software. We do our contracts through that software. And 7 years ago, we would go out and we'd do an estimate, and then we'd write the estimate and we'd send it in the mail, and the customer would get it in the mail and say, okay, yeah, we want to do that. And so then we would write up a contract and we'd send the contract in the mail, and then they would send the contract back. Yes, we want to do that. And then the next step is, now we got to do the lien paperwork. So CCB requires any contract over $2,000 need lien paperwork. So then we would send out the lien paperwork. So this is like a month-long process, just shooting paperwork back and forth unless they could come in the office and sign. Now it's basically like we'll go do the estimate, we'll write up the contract, and we can email it out today. It hits their email, they can e-sign it, it's back. Like, everything happens at the speed of light, and we're able to communicate so much better through that software, take on as many, a lot more customers, serve them better, communicate throughout our company so much better. So a CRM, and by far and away, is the number one tool that we've used that has allowed us to grow and grow comfortably.
I think that's interesting. I wonder, it seems like you're a numbers guy, and
Yes.
you're crunching some numbers. Do you have any numbers for how there was that period of time where you had to learn how to use CRM and integrate it into your processes, but then there was a return on that investment of that time? Have you increased number of jobs you're doing? Do you have any numbers like that?
Yes, I do. So there's 5 years, around 2008 to 2014, 15, we were probably doing about around $2 million in revenue every year, right around there. And last year we hit 4.3 million in revenue, so almost double the size. This year we've got a $5 million goal. So revenue has increased. And I would also say that at that time, net profit was not great, couple percent net profit. Net profit has increased also. Efficiency has increased. The amount of customers we can serve and serve well has increased. So that's been the return on it.
Great. Along those lines with technology, have you ventured into AI?
I used AI yesterday to write a warranty explanation for a contract that I sent out to a local real estate group.
Is that how you've primarily used it, is to write things?
I've used it so I could pull up my script. I've used it to help me write a bonus program. I've used it to help write multiple job descriptions, just prompting back and forth. And I script it based on the book Teamwork. Help me build a job description, and as good as you prompt it, AI is an amazing tool. And actually, in my business coaching group yesterday, that was the topic, was ways to use AI.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not great at it. I'm just scratching the surface at it, but I am trying to use it as much as possible. I think that it's a tool, and if you learn it now, if you don't learn it now, you're going to get left behind. It's coming.
I believe that. I started out thinking of it just as a writing tool, and I like to write, so I don't like it for that. And then I started realizing it can actually be kind of an assistant.
Yes.
And do
great,
some stuff for
it's
you.
great for ideation,
Mm-hmm.
creation, ideation. It's really good for that.
Yeah. So talking about your business a little bit, how long has Linkville Roofing and Siding been in business?
So my father, Richard, founded Linkville Roofing and Siding in 1984, and he started with two guys in a pickup truck, and he grew it all the way up to about 50 people by 2008. And it was a wild ride. He was doing a lot of work and didn't have a lot of the controls in place. He did a great job at it, but brought it all the way up to about 50 people in 2008. And then the economy kind of went downhill, and we shrunk back up in 2008. At that time, I was working out at the chalets, out at the Running Y, building the chalets. At that time, that's when I came into the office and started trying to learn the back end of the business and the sales capacity. And then I just kind of started taking on more and more.
Mm-hmm. Um, what's it been like working? Your dad built it up, and then how's it been working with your dad?
It's been one of the highlights of my life. So we we butt heads a little bit, but I always take pride in, like, he's the yin to my yang. So like I have these big grandiose ideas and I want to do these things, and I always run them by him, and he'll put me in check sometimes, and it's needed. Like sometimes I go too fast or go too far, and he's always kind of been the person that I bounce stuff off of, and help me get to the right place. And sometimes it'll take me a week, 2 weeks, or a year, but like I'll turn back over to him like, damn it, Dad, you were right.
Damn it.
But it's been great working with my dad. He's provided me a platform in life to like do what I've wanted to do and use my talents and grow into, because I wasn't this, 5-10 years ago, I wasn't where I am now. And he's provided me, my college education started a little later, like 5 years ago, we started talking about a transition where I'm going to buy the business from. So I started like, man, I better get serious about this, and I better learn how to do this, because I've got really big shoes to fill. And he's built something amazing. Like, you ask people in town about Linkville, and a lot of it is, yeah, I hear you guys do great work. And that's my dad going out of his way to take care of people, no matter the cost of it, right, wrong, or indifferent. Even if we're not, maybe we're in the right, it doesn't matter. He goes the extra mile. He takes care of people. Mm-hmm. And that's what our business has been built on.
That's awesome. Did you always know you wanted to go into this business?
No, I was one of those kids that would have been helped by Build My Future and that type of thing, because I came out of high school and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I really had a hard time putting my finger on what it is I wanted to be. So I went to college, and I, kind of played around a little bit there, and wasn't really for me. I came back and I started in the business, and it took a certain amount of time, but yes, at the age of 25, 30, I knew that, yeah, I want to run Linkville Roofing and Siding.
Mm-hmm. Do you, what would you say to young people that maybe are in that same place? What would you say about the trades?
I would say that there is a supply and demand issue for the trades right now. So for the last 20 years, guidance counselors in high schools have been saying, you've got to go to college. You need to go to college. And that's good for probably about 40%, 30-40% of people. You don't have to go to college. The trades are an amazing opportunity for high school kids that want to come and learn. And it's not just going out there and being a plumber and doing the plumbing, or going into HVAC and doing HVAC, or I want to be a roofer, I'm going to go put shingles on. There's so many support jobs outside of just doing the actual work itself. There's roofing salespeople, there's production managers, there's office staff. This is just in my company. There's social media people. There's so many more jobs in the industry that people don't understand that are there. And even when we do Build My Future, I'm always talking about, yeah, we're doing a great job of showing all this hands-on stuff, but there's a whole nother 30 or 40% of jobs in the industry that are all back-end jobs that we're not like portraying. They're out there, and they're really good jobs.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the most important things you'd need? If you think trades are for you, what trades or skills do they need?
They need, first off, a good attitude, and be willing to learn, and be willing to start out at the bottom and work their way up. a little aptitude to use tools, but all that stuff, when I'm hiring, I'm doing a job interview, I'm hiring for culture almost always. I want a guy that's going to come in and fit in on the crew. We can teach, if somebody's got a desire to learn, we can teach them so much so fast. You have to be willing to show up every day on time. That's what is really needed. You have to be willing to learn. What the selling point of our job is, every week or week and a half, we go to a new job. You get to start with something that is dilapidated, and you get to make it new again. And when you're done with it, you get to turn around and look and you say, I did that. And then when you get to my age and you're driving around with your wife and you're driving down the road and your wife's, what are you looking at? And you say, I did that roof. I did that. That's my siding. And usually when I'm saying that and I say I mean my guys, my employees. Like, we do really good work, and I take pride in it. So when I say I'm give the credit to those guys that are out there working for me and doing the work, because we take a lot of pride in doing it right.
Mm-hmm. You, your dad had grown it to 50, and then I know 2008 happened. How many employees do you have now?
Last year at our peak, we were at 44 to 45 people, and that's 33 guys that were working in the field, going and doing the work. And then the 12 on that is support staff, 3 salespeople, 2 production managers, 2 office staff, 1 or 2 shop guys. This year, 50 is probably where we're looking to get to hit our revenue target.
Do you primarily do work here in Klamath Falls, or do you travel at all?
We have about a 1 hour radius, a little over an hour. So Lakeview, a lot. Alturas we'd go to Alturas a few times a year, and that's stretching it. We are over in Ashland doing a siding and painting and roofing job that we started last year. We're finishing up the painting here soon. So a little over an hour radius, I would say.
Okay. Back to your comment about culture. You said when you're doing job interviews, then you're looking for culture. And I know that's actually something some businesses struggle with creating, especially as their business grows and they add more people. What are your tips for creating culture?
Sit down and define. So this comes from books. I would never thought I would consider myself a numbers person or a book person, but I am both of those. I'm even in a book club.
Okay.
So, couple books that I read on culture is Teamwork, Natalie Dawson, and Beyond the Hammer, David Gottlieb, and I read them consecutively, and both of them like echoed each other. So start out and define your values. What are your company values, your company values, and then build a mission statement. So where are you going? The mission statement is where are you going in the next 5 years, 10 years, where's your company going? And then mission statement, how are we going to get there? What are we all about? Like, what's our mission? So over the last year, we've done all 3 of those, and really, I try to put them on now I'm building job description. I'm trying to put my mission statement, my vision statement, our values in all of those, and put them everywhere. Go to a safety meeting and ask, hey, what's our mission statement? And if you can get your guys to answer, hand them a gift card. So that's like little tricks that I'm trying to work on. And it's not perfect. It never has been, probably never will be, but every day we try to get up and be better than the day before. As a company, like my guys, if I started this right now and one of my guys was in there, they'd finish this quote for me, but I could say Linkville roofing's like a race car. We're going to pull this thing out here in 2025. We're going to run this thing hard. We're going to run the wheels off of it. And when it slows down, which it never really slows down, but our off season, we're going to put it on the rack and we're going to fix things and we're going to work on things. I'm going to try to be better every year. I want to be a little bit better next year than I was this year. Run it hard, find our pain points and work on those pain points.
How do you find it easy to find the pain points? Sometimes it can be hard to look at ourselves critically.
Yes. I have my own. I find it easy to find the ones that affect me, but there's so many aspects of the business. Having good leaders in the other spots that can help work on those other things is the other part of it. There's I kind of manage the sales and marketing side of the business, and my father runs the production side of the business right now. So there's kind of that's where we've gained some traction. Is 5 years ago, and we were around $2 million, $2.3 million in revenue. We were stuck at that spot because everything we did ran across my dad's desk. I mean, every decision that was made, every estimate that went out, everything ran across his desk. And one of the big things that really started turning the corner is we started talking about transition, and I knew I needed some help. I needed some coaching. So I went to, I think we were at IBS in Vegas, the builder show, and there was this company there called Breakthrough Academy. And they're all about systemizing your business and learning how to, when I said my college education, Breakthrough Academy has been my college education. So I joined that group, and they're a coaching group, and they helped me build systems into the business. And one of the first things we started doing was, okay, so let's build an org chart. And on this org chart, let's give people deliverables. Like now we're starting to, we've separated to where Eric's over here with sales and I have a sales team. Rich is over here with production, and Rich has a production management team and all these 30 guys that are out in the field every day. So we've started systemizing. We've become more specialized in our jobs. Instead of 7 years ago, Eric would go out, do the estimate, sell the job, write the work order, try to manage the job. So I'm trying to do every single little thing. We've systemized and we've broke it down and to where we're all doing our jobs, but we're more specialized at what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. When you, with that culture, when you're doing the job interview and that's what you're looking for, how does that job interview look with that in mind versus do you know how to do X, Y, and Z?
That job interview goes, so we interview for preferences and abilities. This is a Breakthrough Academy thing. So one of the coaching sessions in there is professional interviewing. So we interview for preference and abilities, and then in our interview form, we go over our values, our mission statement, our vision statement. More in the interview, in the beginning of it, it's the values, and then it's, hey, can you align with these values? And if they're on board with that, and they're like, yeah, you're a people business. That's your main objective is people. Whether it's one of our values is people, whether it's our customers or our employees, we go the extra mile to take care of people. And that encompasses most of the other ones. We know that we only go as far as our people take us. So if they do align, we end up hiring them. The next part of the process is that before they go out to work, one of the things that we're trying to do is get them into a meeting with my father or I, and now we're going over the mission statement and the vision statement. This is where we're going. This is how we're going to get there. And start them out right so they know what we're about and where we're trying to go.
Mm-hmm. You've mentioned your appreciation for the people a lot. One of the things I hear from our businesses pretty often is how hard it can be to retain and to recruit. Do you have tips for that?
Yeah, I think it's the family business, having the family feel, and that can be misconstrued too. It's a business, so got to get past the family part. But it's always been built on, Linkville's always been built on that premise of the golden rule, right? Treat others like you want to be treated. So we always just try to treat them well. As far as recruiting, there's a lot of different ways. The best way you can do it, just like getting new clients, getting new employees, is you try to treat those guys right, and then they're going to bring their friends. And we've got a guy that works for us right now, Josh, who's 29 years. We've got multiple guys that have been with us 15 years, 20 years. So the people drive our business, and our lead men, Felix, Jason, Tyler. I'm missing a couple of them, but those are the guys that drive the business. And if you keep those good guys on, we have a certain amount of turnover every year, but the lead men that run the crews and take care of them, and they take care of our customers, that's what you got to do. And if you can find that guy that you don't have to babysit, and they do a really good job. You take care of them. And so that's what we try to do.
If a picture says 1,000 words, imagine the story. 24 frames a second can tell about your business. 40 Deuce Films.
This year at our gala, you won an award. Linkville did. You won the oh my gosh, how am I going to forget this? The large business of the year. I actually, I don't think it was it large, or was it for I think you're right, actually. Sorry, scratch that. But there was a lot of really great things said about your organization and the kind of workplace, because that's important in a community, but also for giving back. What do you think a business's responsibility to the community it's in is?
To serve. So my dad, that's always been a big thing for him, is to try to give back. And heck, he'll jump in and he'll pull cans and bottles out of the cars and recycle. And that just goes to like the little things. So bigger companies and bigger organizations in the basin, I absolutely feel like we have a responsibility to help where we can. I think that really should align with like your values and what do you care about? How do you want to help out? So we title sponsor Build My Future, because we really believe in that organization, giving kids another avenue besides college and bringing them into the trades. We support that because we need that as a company. We see the shift of like, there's not a lot of great employees coming this way. They've all been pushed towards college. So we support that cause. Another cause that we support is roofers in recovery. So the trades has had a lot of problems with alcoholism and drug use. So this year we're going to do a roof, and we're going to give part or all of the proceeds to Roofers in Recovery. This is an organization that it's near and dear to my heart. A few years ago, I quit drinking. Hardest thing I've ever had to do or ever done. And we've made a shift from 10 years ago. We had a lot of that in our business, and we've made a big shift in our company to where we have a lot of guys that are recovering, good guys doing the right thing. So when we're hiring, we're actually, going back to the hiring question, that's something that we're totally fine with. Like, we want those guys that have been through it and they're on the other side of it. And we want to provide them a good workplace, a sober workplace. And it's not perfect, but we've definitely made some big strides in that. And that's why that's something that we support. And so I think that you, as a company, you just have to find the things that are really near and dear to your heart, and actually that's where you throw your support. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of places to throw support. Like we focus on those two organizations, Home Builders Association, and then all the high school sports. Like I want to be in KU, Mazama, Henley, Cross Point. I'm in 3 out of 4 of them. I want to be in all of the gyms. I think that's a great place to add support to.
That's great. You have mentioned your values often, so I'm curious what they are.
The people one is the number one. And then the recognition was on there. And then, I don't know if it was profit or value or like the earning of money, but when I dug into my value preference indicator, like that had a lot to do with stability. Like, yes, I want to make a profit, but because I want to have stability for my company, to provide stability to my employees, provide stability to my family. So yes, I want to be around. So, and this happens at Linkville Roofing, like we screw up, but when the phone rings, we go out and we take care of it and we back up our work. Like I've bought some fairly decent sized projects. If you do 200, 300, 400 jobs in a year, we do mess up. And I have to have enough profit there that when we do mess up, I want to be able to do the right thing. And that's something that in our industry, there's a lot of contractors that are in this race, and the race is to the bottom, where we're all going to see who can charge the lowest price. And 8 years ago, 9 years ago, I met a shingle rep guy who's kind of been a mentor to me. And he came in, he's like, they offered us like this big warranty package where the manufacturer backs our work. And he's like, sometimes the worst thing you can do is try to be competitive with all these guys down here. And the problem can be is that maybe they don't know, maybe they don't have the best pricing model. And so I got out of that race to the bottom, read a book, profit, markup and margin for contractors. And it taught you how to build your own price. That's your price. That like, I'm not going to look at what these guys are doing. If they can do it for that, that's great. So we built our own price, and this is the price that we need to make a profit, do a good job, be here next year when we do have a mistake and we want to take care of it. We've charged enough that we can take care of our mistakes. We can take care of our people. That's what that's about.
Yeah, that's great. What's your mission? Because you mentioned that a couple times. Can you tell me?
Ooh, good thing
your employees should be watching because you quiz them on this.
So the Linkville Roofing's mission statement, we want to provide, I've got it written, I need to memorize it myself, provide long-lasting products that serve our community. There's growth. Like we've grown over the last 5 years. Growth is in that mission statement to where like we've got a goal of hitting a $5 million revenue target this year. The mission is for Linkville Roofing is to keep growing. I'd like to get 5, 6, 7, keep the growth going. And what I really like about the growth is it allows us to create that org chart that I'm talking about. Now we're able to create some even better positions, better paying positions, allow the guys that started, the Reggies that started at the laborer to get to a lead man position, and the lead men to get to a production manager position or a sales position if they want that. But the next on my org chart, some of the next spots are, if we can continue to grow, safety manager. We're starting to run 30, 40 people out working every day. A safety manager is like something we're starting to look at. Marketing, like part-time marketing, a marketing person. We've got that really cool thing up at OIT. There's a really nice marketing program. I'm kind of starting to look up there being like, man, it'd be really cool to pull one of those kids out of that program and have them come be a part-time or a full-time marketing manager. But you have to get to a certain level to be able to have that need.
Mm-hmm. Do you do any strategic planning or anything like that for your future?
Ooh. Yes. So Breakthrough Academy every year, and I hated this 5 years ago. The SBDC got my dad and I on this path. So the SBDC, if you haven't used them, Kat, Barry, who's running it now, Estella is running it now. They are a great asset for the small businesses in this town. And 5 years ago, when we wanted to start talking about, how does this look in 5 years, which we're at now, the SBDC, they helped us start with a transition plan. So they've been very instrumental in helping us. What was the question again?
Strategic plan.
Okay, strategic planning. Absolutely. So Breakthrough Academy, every year we go to a different location. What took me to the SBDC is this started with Arnie, the guy that helped me and my dad do the transition planning. He said, Eric, you need to do this 1-page business plan. And this was when I was just getting going with Breakthrough Academy right after we did this, because I wanted to learn the back end of the business. So I did this 1-page business plan, and I was like beating my head against the wall. I hated it, didn't love it, but it got me started. And then Breakthrough Academy, their big thing is like every year you go on this event, and you go, 1 year we went to Mexico, 1 year we went to Bend, we went to the Dominican Republic, and you spend 20 hours doing a strategic plan for your business. And then 4 other contractors of your size, roofing contractors that are my size in different areas, they all do 20 hours of planning and put all their numbers. I mean, they give you access to everything. Their books are on the table. And then a week before you go to this event, everybody shares everybody's documents, and we all give feedback to each other. And so planning has been huge, and it's absolutely been instrumental in getting where we are now. I think one of the things I've learned over the last few years is like the planning and the goal setting. If you really sit down and you put your goal on paper and you speak it into the universe, and I want this, and this is what I'm going to do, and you put it on your screensaver, your phone, and you're looking at it every morning. And you don't always hit it, but man, it absolutely helps, and it makes a difference. So in the goals, me and Nicole were driving and we were listening to a podcast and about goals and the satisfaction they give you, the joy they give you when you set a goal and you can hit it. Man, that feels so good. And so kids out there, like, if start setting goals, like, it doesn't have to be big, but where are you going? What are you doing? And set those goals and hit them, because there's no better feeling in the world than achieving those goals.
Absolutely. And making them something when it's done, right? Those, I know it's cliche, but the SMART goals, right? Making sure it's something you can track.
Absolutely.
When I became director at the chamber, I thought I was going to hate the financials, right? I'm not a numbers person. I'm a feel person. Like, how's it feel? But it became one of my favorite things, because numbers will tell you how you're doing. It's not the complete picture, but it'll tell you, am I headed down the right path? Are my chamber members continuing to support us in our programs? I became a numbers person for that reason. So besides growth, because I know that you've said that you have that, what are a couple of your other goals over the next couple of years, personal or business?
Oh, personal, I just be a better father, a husband, a better leader at home. Business wise, I'd like to continue to grow and gain market share. I've also the Breakthrough Academy, that kind of what I've learned through it is I also want to get to the point in my business that I'm managing the business through my key people. So it's the opposite of the way my dad did it in 2008. And we've learned and we've gotten better at it, but I want that org chart to be filled out with A players, a production coordinator, a production manager, and their deliverables are a sales manager. Their deliverable is sales. A production coordinator, their deliverable is revenue produced through the work. A marketing manager. And so business wise, instead of working 60 hours a week, I'd like to be able to work 30 hours a week. That's part of like, you asked the vision question. So I would love to get to that point, because I also, through going through Breakthrough Academy, I've realized that I really enjoy the numbers and I enjoy business and managing business. And so I don't know if I'll ever get there, but I can kind of see this in the future as like, it's a possibility of, we've got Linkville roofing and siding, but what about Linkville plumbing, or what about some Linkville windows and doors, Linkville flooring, just possibly buying another business. And another book from my book clubs that I was reading that kind of got my wheels turning it's like Cody Sanchez, Main Street Millionaire. So there's all these businesses that are out there that are just like mine. And this is kids that going back to build my future and kids getting into the trades. There is so many businesses that have an aging founder that is wanting to retire or kind of getting that age, but there's no plan on where this business is going to go. So if you could get in there as a kid and get in a business that didn't have an Eric, like a Linkville roofing that didn't have an Eric, and you started out and you let the owner know, hey, I want to be the apprentice. I want to learn this thing. And in 5 years from now, I want to buy this business from you, give you a way out and me a way in. So that's kind of my thought is, in business wise, I'd like to keep growing as an entrepreneur and keep growing Linkville to serve the community and serve people.
Do you, you seem like you might be a really good coach. Have you ever considered doing that in the future?
That's funny. it's funny you ask. I really enjoy that. Barry through the SBDC was kind of my coach 5-6 years ago, trying to teach me the numbers, the balance sheet, the spreadsheet. And since then, 6 years later, I think Barry should come back to me and I can teach him a little bit. I actually enjoy doing that. I've had a couple people come through our BNI group, and we've done some one-to-ones, and like I've been able to share some of my experiences, and I've made a lot of mistakes and learned from them. I take a lot of pride in. I screw up every day, quite a few times a day, but learning from my mistakes and not repeating them over and over again. So I feel like I enjoy the coaching aspect, and I would be an open book to any small business tradesperson that wanted to pick my brain. I'd love to just put it out there and save them from some of the mistakes we've made as a company. And yeah, you picked up on that, and that's absolutely a thing. I enjoy the coaching and teaching and helping other entrepreneurs.
Can you think about the journey you've had starting at Linkville and then deciding you wanted to transition and take it over, if you will? Is there one lesson that really stands out to you that you've learned?
I wish I would have started earlier on getting a business coach, getting a mentor, lifelong learning, reading books. That's what stuck out to me, is like when I really got started at it, it's been a joy. It's moved the needle, and my dad's gave me the canvas to move the needle, and also to stop me when I want to make a bad decision too. So, get a business coach, get a mentor, somebody that's already doing what you want to do, and use them. You don't have to, in this industry, you don't have to recreate the wheel. And when I joined Breakthrough Academy, I'm in this group of 40 roofers, and there's some guys that are doing $1 million or some guys that are doing 50. And so I didn't have to recreate anything. I just found the smart guys in the room and I just copied them.
Mm-hmm.
Smart enough.
That's wise. Well, I appreciate your time today. We are coming to the end, but I have a couple of fun questions I ask at the end of people. And I've stumped most people with this, but you've mentioned books a lot. So if you were going to recommend one book, what would it be?
Got it. Buy Back Your Time, Dan Martell.
Okay. Why that book?
Oh, because it covers so much about business, and I just relate to it. It's about it. It shows you how to audit your time, do the things that you enjoy most. It shows you how to train people to do the jobs that you don't want to do, or it has a lot of training aspect of it. It has a lot of finding the joy in what you do at work, and how do I do more of that? How do I do more of the things that light me up and less of the things that don't light me up? So that it's an amazing book.
All right, I'm gonna have to check that one out. That's not one I've read. If I gave you a check for $250,000 to make a difference by the end of the day in the community, what would you do with it?
Ooh, I'd invest a big chunk of it into KCC. I would invest a big chunk of it into some type of recovery mission, like missions, AANA. I think that our community can always use help with that. Oh, what else would I do with it? I would invest some of it into your organization, because I think that Discover Klamath and the Chamber of Commerce are pretty good organizations in the town too. We absolutely need to find some growth in Klamath and keep bringing in some businesses. It's always been my favorite thing about Klamath Falls, and least favorite thing at the same time, is that we've grown slow. But we always are growing. But I do enjoy the small town. Like the biggest traffic jam I get stuck in is right next to Albertsons on the way home.
I agree with that. Thank you for that. And then the last question, is there something you can't start your morning without?
A year and a half ago, I was getting up for the last 5 years. I'd get up at 5:30 and I'd go in the office. About a year and a half ago, I was feeling like I was spending so much 12 hours a day in the office sitting in a computer. So a year and a half ago, I started getting up in the morning and working out. So I'd say the two things, my morning routine, and I don't think I could start it without it, is I get up in the morning and I don't like go crazy workout, but sometimes I'll do some push-ups or some sit-ups, like just some body weight exercise. I'll jog. This morning I jogged 3 miles. So the workout, the small workout, the time, a little bit of time to yourself. I'll listen to a podcast while I'm doing that. And it gets me fired up half the time. And then I have my coffee at 6:30. I can see my kids in the morning a little bit more and take them to school sometimes. I'd say coffee and my morning routine of a little bit of exercise.
I like it. I usually only do 3, but I am going to ask one more. What's a podcast you would recommend?
Ooh, Contractor Evolution Breakthrough Academy. So my business coaching group, their podcast is Contractor Evolution, and it's everything contractor related, contractor systemization, growth. If you're a contractor in the space, I would absolutely recommend them as a podcast. And if you start listening to their podcast, you'll probably start checking into their resources or their coaching. But they've moved the needle in our company hugely, and it's been a big investment. It was a hard pill to swallow to make that investment monthly, and it's cutting a big check, but it's been the best money I feel like as a company, some of the best money we've ever spent. That budget line item for continuing education in our company, you look at it and you're like, oh man, we're spending, this is 5 years ago, $20,000 on continuing education. It's triple now. And that's training for salespeople, training for staff. It's investing in your people. It's a super important line item if you want to grow your business and grow your knowledge in the industry.
Well, I think back to one of the first questions we asked. I think the important thing you're doing is looking at the return on that investment, and you've obviously found the benefit of doing that.
Yes. Yes. Some of the best things that we've done, when you look at it at first, you're like, oh, this is going to cost me so much. And I've absolutely changed my paradigm to where this isn't what it's going to cost me. This is the value that it's going to bring back is 10x.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not always cost. There's value.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your time today, Eric. And thank you to our sponsor, 40 Deuce Films.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been everything and more of what my first podcast I thought it would ever be.
When you told me that you wanted to be on a podcast, I was like, oh, I am so glad we asked you.
Goal check.
Check.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.